Hey guys, welcome back to my survival world. It's me, Ryasune, and today we are in the 1.21.8 update. I've already been to the Nether to grab these two dried ghasts, which I was trying to record myself making the trip there. Hopefully I can make it to this basalt delta without burning alive. Oh gosh. Let me out. Water. Aha. I lived. And my commentary was just not going well. But I do need to take another trip back to the Nether anyways, because when I was there I forgot to get warped Nylium, and I also forgot to get the Tears music disc, so let's head back into the Nether and hopefully we can get those items. I'll grab my Silk Touch pickaxe, put on my Nether specific armor, and we can head down to the Nether portal. I realized that I should probably put some of my stuff away before heading down into the Nether, so I've just gone and done that real quick. And off we go. Oh my goodness. Already throwing my sword. That's not a great start to being in the Nether. Hopefully I can avoid burning to death. And hopefully this trip will be uneventful as possible. Wow, I just realized that this place is a very large flat area for the Nether. And I think it'd probably be a good place to make one of the simple manual piglin farms for when we need gold. Hey, here's our first gas. Hopefully we can get the disc without too much difficulty. Ow. Should probably heal. That might be a good idea. Maybe put these flames out. I can do that later though. Oh, I am just realizing now though that we don't want to kill it over the lava because then we get no chance of getting the disc. So hopefully I can lure it back over here and then we can grab the disc. Though it doesn't really seem like it wants to be lured. Ow. This is not working as well as I'd hoped, not gonna lie. Where did it go? When I was in here earlier, finding the dried ghasts was actually really easy. I believe that there was one down there, maybe? And then there was another skeleton somewhere off in that direction that I found the second dried ghast at. I don't know where that angry ghast went, so I'm just gonna try to... Oh, well, there's another one that is much more available to grab the music disc from. So we'll try to find this one as well. No, too low. Too high. Yes, we got it! Nice. I don't think I have a music disc yet, but I have been collecting a fair amount of diamonds, so we can definitely make one once we get back to the overworld. So first we just gotta cross this basalt delta to get to that warped forest over there. I really love the atmosphere of the basalt delta, but it is very frightening for me to navigate. I feel like I'm always gonna fall into little pockets of lava and burn to a crisp. Oh, like this. Well, I guess I'm not surviving this. Oh my gosh, am I gonna live? No, there's no way. Darn. Okay, we'll try that again. Maybe I should grab some boots. Okay, new pair of golden boots equipped, and hopefully we'll be able to get our stuff back without too much difficulty. I believe that brings our death counter up to 8 now, which I feel like is kind of a lot for 600 whatever days we're at now, but whatever. Burn in lava again, please. Gotta be very careful. Let's actually make the jump this time. Nice. And here's all our stuff back. I would have been so sad if the music disc burned in the lava. I'm pretty sure this fire protection chest plate saved me from that fate, so I'm very glad that I actually put it on. I'm wanting to grab some of this warped nylium here because I've been thinking about growing some warped wood trees so that we can have a little bit of variety in the roofing for our village. I think that having a few different textures of the bluish color will do nicely to break up the monotony. Half a stack is probably enough. I don't know if I should kill this magma cube. No, the grass. Okay, grass saved. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't found any nether structures yet, since Dungeons and Taverns adds things like piglin camps, skeleton camps, larger piglin structures. But I guess I just haven't roamed far enough in the nether to have encountered any of them. And there's our portal. And here we are, back to the relative safety of the overworld. One of the other things that I'm hoping to do this episode is maybe just fill in the border of the walls a little bit more so they're 2 blocks high, and potentially we can even let some of the villagers out, I hope. Hopefully that won't get them all killed. Because currently, I actually have one of my villagers that will sell me 12 glass blocks for 3 emeralds, and another one that's buying 6 glass panes for an emerald. So those two give me infinite emeralds, as long as they're restocking. So I definitely don't want to lose them. Anyways, my main goal for this episode is to build a simple villager house right in this spot where this ruin is. I'm thinking that I will be building a retaining wall along this way and coming across this way to connect up to this building here. And then we can have the foundation pretty much as is in terms of its shape. And then somewhere about here, we can have a little supporting wall so that we can have a second part of the building jutting out, and we can have a nice little archway to walk underneath. I think that will make for a cute addition to the village. I also would like to hydrate one of my dried ghasts, so we can use that for building. I'll take this wall off, and I believe I have the ghast on me still? I do, okay. And we can just set it right there, and it should be getting hydrated. While that's going, I should probably get a fence and a lead so it doesn't fly away too far. So I'll grab those 2 things, and we can make sure that it doesn't get away. While it recovers, I'm thinking we can start to tear down the existing foundations of this building so that we can replace them with our own custom foundations. Okay, so not gonna lie, the last recording session I did for this episode, I was very disorganized. So today's a different day, and hopefully we can actually get stuff done in the order that I'd intended to in the first place. So I'll go get a sign to put a list of our objectives for today on, and we can get to work. I realized that I don't have any snow to give to my happy ghast, so I definitely want to get some of that before I do anything else, because we're currently hydrating it, and we'll want to be prepared for when it recovers. Second, I want to build the retaining walls in the spot behind me along this little ledge, so that we can do our third step of making a temporary wall so we can let our villagers out of these little houses that we've got them in. And then finally, I want to actually construct the house that will be behind us here. So I'll get a shovel, and we can head up to the mountain biome that's somewhere behind me right now. And we can grab a little bit of snow, and I'm thinking that maybe we can even make a snow golem and put it in a cave down by the mine or something to keep it protected from the sun. And we can just farm a little bit of snow from it, and that way we'll have snowballs to feed our gas. Worrying about grabbing a shuttle is evidently unnecessary because apparently I already had one in my inventory. So we'll just head down to the river, grab our boat, which I hope is still there, and we can head out to get some snow. As we head up the river, I'm thinking about another project I've got in mind for this world. For whatever reason, I don't really like living far away from spruce taiga biomes and snowy mountains and stuff. And since we don't really have either of those two biomes here at home in Fopswel, I was thinking of actually maybe taking the plains biome across the river and potentially turning it into an old-growth spruce forest. As I go through this valley, I also see these bunker ruins, which is something that I haven't actually gone to yet, and I definitely want to go to them in the near future. So hopefully we'll have some time to do that during one of the next episodes. Hey, I don't think I've been to this little ruin here before. I guess we'll just get to work on grabbing some snow. Oh my goodness, oops. I didn't really mean to break that, but that's okay. I'll just grab those two, and this one, and that'll definitely be more than enough. I'm not sure that I have any pumpkins back at the village, so I think I'll just grab these really quick, just in case I don't. Guess I can just park this back here, and hopefully I'll remember that that's where I left it. But we'll get some supplies to make a little snow farm, and we'll go put it together down in the mine. We can just dig a little area here. Oh, it seems I forgot one of our tuff, but that's okay. We can just put a cobblestone and pretend that we didn't do that. We'll clear this area here. And I believe this is how we do it. I haven't made one of these in several months, so hopefully I can actually do this correctly. And now our farm is all set, and we can just get as much snow as we want from this guy. Now that we've got that all set, we can just head back up to our happy ghast, and we'll give it some snowballs. Wait, please tell me the happy ghast didn't fly away already? Hello? There it is! I feel like I probably won't be able to lure it from this far away with snowballs. So I do have scaffolding. So I guess we can... Oh, never mind, it's coming. Yes, nice. I should probably make a saddle so it can be tamed once it grows up. So we'll just connect it to this reed here so it doesn't get too far away, and we can make ourselves a happy ghast saddle. I'm not sure what color I should go for this saddle. I guess we can go with cyan to match the theme of Fopswel. So we've got our snow for our ghast checked off, and now we can get working on the retaining walls. I'm thinking we can use the same build palette as we did on our bridge for the retaining walls, and I'm thinking we can start them on this layer here and bring them around this way. So I will grab the stones that we need, and we'll get started on the walls. I'll take half a stack of stone bricks, half a stack of mossy stone bricks, the rest of our stone we have, and I'm also thinking that along the top of the walls we can add the chiseled tuff block. I'm thinking that I want some of the natural terrain to stay here, so maybe we can curve the retaining wall in just a little bit, and that way we can have some of the dirt pushed up against the retaining wall to retain a little bit of that natural feel. I'm hoping that having this bend around like this will look okay, and then go into this little flat section, but I guess the only real way to know is to try it and see if it works. At least shaping-wise, I guess this doesn't look too bad. We'll definitely want to bring this wall across here just to frame in the stairs that'll be here eventually a bit better. I'm realizing that our retaining wall on this side is 2 blocks slower than what it would be on this side, simply due to the natural difference in the elevation of the terrain. So I'm wondering if maybe we should bring this side up just by 1 more block, so it's a little bit less of a jarring difference between this side and this side once we put the retaining wall in. I also noticed that while we've been working on the retaining wall, our happy ghast has grown up, so we can put its harness on now. I've never actually flown on the happy ghast myself yet, so I don't know how slow it'll feel to fly on it, but I guess here's testing that out now. Honestly, this is not quite as bad as I expected. I expected it to be like about half this speed. This will certainly be pretty slow going long distances, but it's not quite as bad as I expected. This will definitely help with building the castle up here on the top of this mountain, and it'll probably help with building some of the roofs of the buildings here too, though probably won't be super useful for our little house today, because I'm thinking that'll probably be a little bit too small for that. It is really nice to be able to get a bird's eye view of everything though. Happy ghast shenanigans aside, we should probably get back to work on these walls, and I feel like this tree definitely will have to go if we want to build a retaining wall here on this side. So we'll chop that down, and maybe we can place a new one in this spot later, but I'm not sure if it'll really fit in here once we've got this house going. I'm not really sure what a good way to prevent the villagers from falling off these stairs would be without just building another wall next to it, but I don't really want to do that. Maybe I can make the trapdoor railings. I think they might be able to be stopped by that if we put them on the outside, but I'm not entirely certain. So we'll just work on getting the outline for our retaining wall in here. Since we're going to be bringing this all the way up here, we can just use some of this dirt we still have to fill in this spot of the retaining wall so we don't have an empty space on the inside. I've got this segment for the wall in, and I'm wondering if maybe instead of having it be curving along the lines like this, if maybe we should just have it be squared off at the ends? But I'm not entirely sure if that would make it look better or worse, to be honest. I guess I can stick with what we have for now, and if I feel like it needs changing, I can come back and make the changes later. I think I definitely make this part here look better if I just went for a straight line across instead of trying to do this weird turn that I had here, so I'll tear this part up and we can put dirt back in and hopefully it'll look at least somewhat natural. And we can get the wall just going straight across instead. We'll also bring it up by 1 more block like I was talking about doing earlier. So I ended up spending like several hours tinkering with the retaining wall behind me here, but I think at this point it's in a pretty good place to start putting those temporary walls up so that we can let our villagers out and then getting to work on the main build of this episode. So let's get this happy ghast back over towards the center of the village and we'll get working on those temporary walls. I'm thinking to make things simple, we can just grab a bunch of cobblestone and we can just add another layer on top of the outlines we've currently got, and then we can add a few areas of walls on the inside to keep them protected for now. I'll just come along here and make sure we get these walls in spots that villagers can't get out and zombies and other mobs can't get in. I'll go back and make sure this is double layered, so if we have pillagers, they'll have a hard time shooting over. And then we can just start placing our normal cobblestone on here. I'm thinking we can just take our walls across here so we don't have to worry about the villagers falling in here and getting stuck. Oh my gosh, this is so ugly. We'll definitely have to work on getting the walls more established sometime in the near future. Otherwise, we're gonna have to be looking at these cobblestone walls going everywhere across the village. Now that we've got those tasks done, we can check these 2 items off our list. We can also go take the fence gate off of our Adventurers Guild, and now we can get to work on our house. Originally, I was thinking I'd leave the foundations for this building where they already were, but after I put the retaining wall where I'd put it, I decided that I'd actually want to move it closer to the wall so that we'd make better use of the space, and as a bonus, we'd have more room for our creek to flow through. So we'll remove the foundation here, and we'll start working on the new building. Unlike the other 2 buildings we've built so far, I'm wanting the stone foundation of this building to take up 1 floor of the house and have a 2nd floor made out of wood. This way we can have our nice little stone archway going over the path that will run through this spot. We'll mark out this spot for our arch, and then we can start marking out the area for our foundation. I did that offset, didn't I? We'll start out with our stone, mossy stone bricks, and regular stone combo here, and then we'll move up to the cobblestone combo that we've got on the other buildings. Now that we have our bricks in, we can work into our 2nd build palette. One thing that I'm currently unsure of on this build is where I want to put the door. I feel like the most convenient spot for it to be would be in this arch, but then that would kind of mess with the shape of the arch, unless we brought it up high enough, which actually it might be anyway, so I'll just continue building this up, and we'll see what we've got afterwards. Now that we've got our stone foundation in place, we can work on this archway and start getting the wood section in. In terms of putting the door in, I think it would be better to have the archway up here, but then I feel like that would look kind of weird going into the wooden segment if we didn't have a layer of stone going all the way across. So unfortunately we'll have to bring these 1 block down to get the supported effect that we're going for. We can start by bringing these beams across, and then we can fill in the undersides with stairs. We can place our wooden supports in, and we can get working on the walls in the morning. So I am gonna move these cats away from the build area so they're not constantly meowing while we're trying to work. Hopefully as this village progresses, we'll be able to put the cats all in different places so that we can't hear a bunch of them meowing at the same time. Otherwise, that's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, how are we looking from the outside? Definitely gonna be very tall, that's for sure. I feel like it would be really nice to have the entrance on this side, just simply to break this shape up a little bit more, but I don't think that'll be feasible. Though perhaps we can break the shape up with a little chimney on this side, as we could probably get away with putting one block into the creek here to make the chimney. We can also add a few windows on this side as well, so that it's not so bland. Both of my previous buildings have been significantly different in shape and size, so I feel like I kind of don't really know what I'm doing with this small house here. But hopefully we can manage to get something that looks nice, and hopefully we can get a good placement going for the windows on this build here. I'm definitely liking the vibes over here that the archway gives, though. I'm excited to see how this looks once the building is complete. I'm wondering if I should add the support beams on the corners on this part of the building, because while I don't have them on this building in the narrow spots, I don't have any wider parts on this building, so I feel like I should probably just add them on the main segment of the building just to make it a little bit more cohesive. Okay, this might be a little tall, so I'll bring the top layer back down by one block, and then we can start getting our roof line going. Okay, I definitely think that looks a lot better within the context of that smaller building. With that change made, however, we can now get working on our roof. With as tall as this building is, I'm definitely wanting to do a different shape of roof. So instead of going up 2 and over 1, we can just go up 1 over 1 instead. And that way our small house won't overpower our larger buildings. We'll finish filling in the spruce segment, and then we can fill in the roof. To change things up, I've decided that I want to use warped wood for this roof. So I'll turn these logs into stairs, and hopefully it won't look too out of place with the copper roofs that we've been doing. Once we get more roofs with the warped wood here going, I think it'll be a nice bit of variation to the colors that we've got going on in our village. While I'm up here, I should probably add these spruce beams that I've been doing in the other builds. And before I get the deep slate slabs and full blocks to fill in the ridge line, we should probably light up the inside of the building so we don't get hostile mobs spawning. And there we go. We have our completed roof. Though depending on how much space the chimney takes up, I might add a dormer window on this side, just to break up the shape a little bit more. With that said, we are running pretty low on hard drive space once again, so I'll finish doing the detailing work, and I'll meet back with you guys once the build is done. I ended up getting a little bit carried away between recordings, and this is the result. As you can see, I've completed the house, built some of the roadways in the village, and even started work on the market. And here we have the completed Archivist's house. I ended up having to move his workstation from the Adventurers Guild over there inside of his building because he couldn't really figure out how to get to the workstation in the Adventurers Guild itself from his bed here in this house. I've decorated the roof with leaves in the same way that I did with the other buildings, and in the back here we've got some plants and even a tree with bees. Along the backside we have our little creek that runs through the village, and we have our other bridge that crosses the creek. Inside we've got our kitchen and a little bit of storage space. I put these bamboo here to sort of look like maybe scrolls or something, and I had to make the campfire elevated to fit in the space smoothly. Once I change over to the Copper Age update, whenever that happens, I'd like to replace this iron chain with a copper chain that matches the oxidization state of this trapdoor here. If we come up the stairs, we've got a little seating area, the workstation up on this little loft, and the bedroom. I also just moved the jukebox and music discs to this house, as I felt like he could also archive music here. With the Archivist's house completed, we can finally check our last objective off of this episode's list. Before I go, I wanted to show you all one more little thing. I made this cute little fox statue as the centerpiece for the Fopswel market, and pressing this button will play a cute little melody from one of my favorite games, Spirit of the North 2. Sorry that getting this next episode out took so long, but thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!